Hello, I'm here to honor who I consider a fallen hero in the doll community, and her name is Susan Fosnot. Susan Fosnot was an incredible doll artist, teacher, and contributor to the doll community. When I found out that she passed away of cancer, a battle of cancer that she was fighting for about 6 months. She kept it secret. Only a few people in her life knew. And I was devastated when I heard that she passed away, and so I want to speak about her. And if you're new to Susan Fosnot, I want to share her work so that you know about her and you can see the legacy and the art contribution that she gave to our community and to the world of dolls. The breadth of her work and the amount of talent that she had is undeniable. It spans beyond anything I have ever seen. I remember the first time I saw Susan's work and I was completely captivated. Susan is not somebody that I was close friends with, but she was somebody that I have admired my entire doll career. Every time I would see her work at a show or an event, I was just astounded by her talent. There's so many of us out there that have her work, that have taken classes with her, that admired her as a doll maker and as a teacher and as a fellow person in our community that fostered the love of dolls and the love of doll collecting. So Susan, this is for you. If you're watching from above, which I hope you are with so many of our wonderful doll friends that have departed us, I just want you to know how much I appreciate what you did, how beautiful and admirable your work is. Susan loved to paint. She loved antique dolls and she loved textiles. And she took all three of those and she created her own style of work, which are beautiful, beautiful cloth dolls. They're masterpieces. They are absolute masterpieces. And as we go through this video, you're going to see a lot of different pieces of her work, and I hope that you enjoy it. So to start, I thought it would be good to hear from Susan Fosnot in her own words in a piece that she wrote about herself on the NIADA website. NIADA is the National Institute of American Doll Artists, and she was a very, very active member of this community. I visited with her and I saw her dolls at a NIADA convention that I attended once, and she did a lot with NIADA. I know a lot of her fellow comrades in the NIADA community are just devastated about this, and so my heart goes out to you too, all of our NIADA friends out there. But Susan on the NIADA website wrote in her own words about her career and who she is, and so we're going to look at some pictures of her work, and I'm just going to read it. So she said, "Like many doll makers, I made dolls as a child. And like many doll makers, I was drawn away from the art for a while. During this time, I did many other things, including earning my degree in art from the University of Wisconsin. Eventually, I returned to dolls. Now I have been making dolls for more than 20 years. I also teach doll making, and I love that. I love to see fledgling doll makers discover their own power of creation. My dolls are made entirely of cloth, and the faces are painted. The dolls are sewn and stuffed in the way most cloth dolls are. Then I paint them using traditional portrait techniques to create an illusion of facial features and hair. I dress them in antique and vintage materials. I am fascinated by historic cloth dolls, particularly the mother-made variety, which often are made with such passion and skill. I find them to be very compelling. In my own dolls, I am always striving for the perfect blend of the flat illusion of a face and the three-dimensional form of a doll. I like them being mobile in the way that dolls can be played with. I think this mobility engages the viewer and invites interaction on a level not offered by sculpture. I created a finely detailed printed cloth doll for the UFDC 2015 convention souvenir, which was probably my biggest doll making challenge. both technically and logistically. Susan Fosnot was from Woodstock, Illinois. If you have one of Susan's UFDC souvenir dolls, please let me know. And this is a space, this video is a space to also to share about Susan, to share your memories of her and your comments of her and what her work meant to you. So please use this as a gathering place for that. I know there will be other tributes coming out, but I really wanted something on my channel and my space because she meant a lot to me, even though I was not friends with her. We knew each other, but she meant a lot to me. And the fact that she's not here is just very sad. And I appreciate everything that she did. And so I want to hold space for Susan. So if you're holding space for Susan, please feel free to comment and to share. So I think that's very beautiful what Susan said. That's another reason why I love her work too, is because I have always been so drawn to cloth dolls, mommy made dolls, hand-painted, handmade dolls, something that's handmade and tangible that you know somebody put so much love and work and effort into is just, it's so inspiring and captivating to me. That's why those type of dolls, along with Raggedy Ann and more cottage style dolls, have always been a favorite. Styles like Isana Walker and dolls like that. So I think it's so great to hear from Susan. Now, speaking of hearing from Susan, several years ago, back when I used to do videos for Ruby Lane, I used to film all kinds of content and I would put it on the internet. Now, this was back in a time when I was out there doing the work and putting it out on the internet, but I didn't know a lot about filming quality, filming something in HD, editing, sound, all of those things. So I had the pleasure of filming with Susan Fosnot at a regional convention. And this was the first time that I saw her spoon dolls up close, where she made dolls and painted their faces on the backs of spoons. I thought that was so incredibly inventive, and they were just so amazing. And in this footage, again, it's not the greatest footage, but every time I look back on all of my early footage, I never feel bad about it because I got the footage. Susan Fosnot's now in doll maker heaven, and I am just so glad that I got the footage, that it's out there and people can see it and they can hear her voice and they can hear what she had to say. I've had the pleasure of interviewing her twice, but I'm going to take some of the snippets from my favorite interview with her and put them in this video. So I hope you enjoy hearing from Susan in her booth. This was back several years ago. I'm not sure exactly when, but I hope you enjoy this content from Susan and I. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Dolly Cam. I am here with the wonderful doll artist Susan Fosnot, and we are here at the Region 12 Doll Convention Show Regional here in Frankenmuth, Michigan. How many regionals do you do throughout the year?
I don't do, this is the only one I've done. I was invited to do a souvenir for a luncheon. And then they said, well, why don't you come and...
In the sales room, of course.
Come and hang with us.
Yes, you had one of the lunches, and I'm sure that I know that one was highly attended, and I was unfortunately here. I couldn't attend, but it sounded wonderful.
We did something completely new for UFDC. We had every doll was different. And not
really?
Just, yeah.
Every doll was different?
Every doll was different. They were all from the same pattern, the same basic design, but I did all different ethnicities. So we had Native American, African, Mexican, Asian,
awesome.
All the different. We had no white children, but all the brown people of the world were represented.
Brown people, how wonderful! What kind of sparked your interest in doing dolls in the very beginning?
What happened was I inherited a box of baby dresses.
Okay.
Those pretty little fluffy ones from the 50s were made in the Philippines, and the fancy little lace and stuff. And I knew a woman I should have given who had made dolls, and I thought I should give them to her, and I kept not wanting to do it. So I said, well, you better do something with these. And I made dolls to fit these dresses to start with. And then I did a show and someone said, well, I like that, but I'd really rather have a smaller one. And I was off and running.
And you were off and running. And all of your dolls are cloth. Have you made them out of anything else?
Not in the last 24 years or so. Previously, I did all kinds of different things, but now it's strictly cloth. Well, maybe it's not quite true. because you classify a doll by the head
You know,
and by the face.
oh, these spoons
So
are
the spoon
wonderful. I
dolls.
love the spoons. If you don't mind, can you pull a couple of the spoons out so we can see them a little bit better? These spoons are fantastic. These are spoon dolls by Susan Fosnot, and these are absolutely dolls. A doll, there's a lot of interpretations on what makes a doll, but this is so much fun. I love it. Oh, and here's a dress
Here's
one.
the finished one.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Okay, so they get the hand-painted face,
Okay.
which is a spoon, and then they get the pattern and the fabrics for the clothing and the fabrics for the body, and they make it.
They make it. That is so innovative. I just love it. And you have the spoons here for sale. Oh, they're just wonderful. Look at that. Get up close. What a fun idea. Did you just wake up one day and think, oh, you know what? I'm going to make a spoon doll, or did you see it somewhere else?
I think it's an old idea, and there was something that had always been in the back of my mind, something I had seen, and I should have bought it then, but I didn't.
Right.
And I finally just decided, because I like to do kits, I like to keep people involved in making the dolls, but I wanted something that would be easy and pretty much guaranteed successful.
Right.
So you don't have to do anything with the face, Yeah, here's an undressed one. See how simple the body really
Love
is. So she is just a spoon.
Just a spoon.
And
wow.
the hat then is really just a strip of fabric, and it's gathered at one side and then gathered around the face.
How
Very
neat.
simple.
Well, be careful who you call just a spoon, because sometimes they grow up to look like these.
That's right.
They are wonderful. So, Susan, what is it about this look, this wonderful, I don't want to say Isaiah Walker inspired look, but this early kind of cottage look that just does it for you?
I can't even tell you. It's just me. It's just where I live. It's who I am. I can't really claim being totally a naive artist. I did go to art school. It was during the period where they didn't teach art in art school. It was just, use your own thing. I learned to gesso a canvas, and then little by little, I got more interested in pursuing the portrait aspect of it. And I guess in school I did do more portraiture, and then I guess because I can do sculpture and it seems like there's a limit to what you can do. I mean, you have the form. That's it.
Right.
It's either there or it's not. But with the painted surface, you can suggest. It seems like it brings you more into a different world, into the doll world, than a truly sculptural form.
Right, absolutely. Susan, I see that you do everything from young women to adults to children to babies. Have you ever made any men?
Oh, sure. Well, I don't do adult men, you're right. I haven't. I've done boys.
Little boys,
but I don't do adult men, and I can't tell you why.
Yeah, well, that's okay. you don't have to have a reason. There's a little boy right there. So sweet. Now, do you do them in stages, or when you paint a face, do you just go for it and get the whole thing done in one go?
No, usually once I've made the form, the head and torso, I draw the face on, and then I let it sit for a day or two. I come back and I say, well, that's not quite where I'd want it. I want the nose a little farther over here. I want the mouth higher, because each head is a little different, and since they're not truly lifelike, there's a little interpretation to where should everything go and how should it look. So I let that take some time, and then I start painting, and I'll get most of it done in one setting, and then it'll be several more settings to do the fine detail and the little changes that it'll need.
Now, when you're doing, say, a darker cloth or a darker complected doll, do you try first to paint the face on a piece of canvas or something like that? Because the paint doesn't always show up the same when you're mixing it and doing stuff like that. I'm just saying the shading, that's got to be a kind of a hard thing to master.
It depends on the paint. When I use acrylics, it's very difficult because they change color so much as they dry. The oils stay more true. But there's different ways I do it. Okay, this is a sample for a workshop I'll be doing in Phoenix this summer.
Ooh,
at the convention.
Are there any spots open?
I don't know. You have to go through United Federation of Doll Clubs.
Contact UFDC and get in this workshop.
So we're going to be doing the face. And the face is done with watercolor pencils and Pigma pen on this brown fabric. So the brown fabric makes the color of the skin. Whereas
Okay.
this one
Right.
here,
This one's painted.
okay, now this one here is painted in oils. The fabric under that is white. So there's layers of, first there's gesso and then there's layers of paint to bring up the color. Just much different approach. Everything is a process of do something and then correct it, and do a little something more and correct it, and then bring the things together. It's always an evolution of success and failure balanced together.
Yes.
And that's what makes them good.
Do you have any tips out there for a doll artist or somebody that's just not knowing what to do and maybe wanting to get started? Something you could have told yourself 24 years ago.
Good question. Do the work.
Yeah, it's work.
Get some materials, try something, doesn't work, try something else. Doesn't work as well as you want to, how do you improve it? Just keep doing the work. Of course,
Susan had so many fans. She had so many fans of people that loved her work, that bought her dolls. They put them on order. She could not really keep her dolls in stock at all. They, of course, took a long time, but she had a lot of people that appreciated and loved her work. And I love that about her. I love that while she was doing it, while she was active, while she was out there, people loved it. Sometimes you see things happen, especially with like early painters, where in their lifetime they never sold a painting, and then after they died, they're 100 years later, they're super popular. But while she was here, that's one thing that I love, is the doll community loved her and knew how good she was. Susan knew how good she was, but not in an elitist way. She was so approachable. She was so lovable. She was very calm when you spoke to her. What you saw was what you got. She told you exactly how it is. And when she complimented you, if you were one of her students, that held a lot of weight. And that kind of personality, I love that kind of personality. But speaking of people that love her work, one of my friends, Deb Crosby, loved her work and has a beautiful collection of Susan's dolls. Deb is sending me right now clips that we're going to put in this video where you can see some of her collection. And Deb just said this to me, but I'm going to share it with you because I think this is just so beautiful. She said, "I really thought I'd be buying her dolls for the next decade or longer. I know I'm lucky to have these, but I still want to talk to her and to collaborate on more baby dolls. They have such soul. Now I'm crying." So I'm going to put up some of the clips and photos of Deb Crosby's collection, which I just find so endearing, of Susan's work. You're going to see big dolls, little tiny dolls, all kinds of wonderful dolls. They are just so cheerful and lovely, and I hope you enjoy seeing Deb Crosby's collection. Susan, I want to gather together all of our doll friends in this video and on the internet and across the world to celebrate your life and to celebrate everything that you did for the world of dolls. Your legacy is that you are an exceptional individual whose immense talent and unwavering passion and remarkable dedication left an indelible mark on the world of art dolls. And with heavy hearts, we bid farewell to our beloved artist, painter, and teacher. Susan, you were a true visionary, a master of your craft and a creator of beauty. Through your skilled hands and painting, you transformed materials into enchanting dolls, each telling a unique story and evoking emotions that words alone can never capture. Your attention to detail was astonishing. Every delicate brushstroke and meticulously crafted feature showcased unparalleled talent. Susan, your dolls breathed life, radiating with distinct personality that captured the hearts of all who got to see them. You are more than just an extraordinary artist. You are a devoted teacher who generously shared your knowledge and nurtured the creative spirit within others. Your studio was a haven where aspiring artists found solace, guidance, and inspiration. And you believed in the power of art to heal and to transform and to connect people across boundaries. Your teachings will continue to flourish through the artistic endeavors of your students who carry a piece of your spirit with them. Today, we are honoring a remarkable artist, a beloved teacher, and a beautiful soul. Rest in peace, Susan Fosnot. Your artistry will be forever cherished, and your memory will be forever treasured.